Have you ever wondered why the first year of retirement is often the hardest? It's a question that lingers in the minds of many. When we think about retirement, we conjure up images of tranquil mornings, leisurely afternoons, and a life free from the stress of work. But here's a bit of a plot twist for you. It's not always sunshine and rainbows. In fact, for many, the first year of retirement can be a rocky road, filled with unexpected obstacles and challenges. You see, retirement isn't just a long vacation, it's a life transition. It's a shift from a structured, work-filled existence to one where you're suddenly in charge of your own time. And that, my friends, can be a bit of a shock to the system. So, let's dive into the journey of our retiree John, who had his share of struggles during his first year of retirement. Meet John, a diligent worker who looked forward to his retirement. John was your quintessential workaholic. For over 3 decades, he crunched numbers, navigated the corporate labyrinth, and scaled the ladder of success in the fast-paced world of finance. Born and bred in the city that never sleeps, he was the embodiment of the New York hustle. His weekdays were a blur of busy schedules, intense meetings, and late-night dinners. His weekends? Well, they were often spent catching up on work or attending industry events. The word retirement was like a beacon of hope for John. He envisioned it as a tranquil phase of life, a well-earned break from the grind. He dreamt of leisurely mornings sipping coffee on his porch, of finally having the time to delve into his long-neglected hobby of painting, of traveling to places he'd only seen in glossy magazines. Yes, John was eager for his retirement, counting down the days with a childlike anticipation. And then it arrived, the golden phase he'd been yearning for. But alas, the reality was starkly different from what he had imagined. The hustle and bustle that once filled his days were replaced by an eerie silence. The lack of routine, the absence of work-related stress, the sudden abundance of free time, it all felt overwhelming. John found himself grappling with a sense of lost identity. He missed the thrill of closing a deal, the camaraderie of his colleagues, the sense of purpose that his job provided. He struggled with filling his days productively, often feeling restless and unfulfilled. Worse still, he realized that his social circle primarily comprised work friends, and with the common thread of work gone, he found it hard to maintain those connections. He also felt a pinch of financial anxiety, a fear of outliving his savings, despite having planned his finances meticulously. John's initial experience was not unique. Many retirees face similar struggles. His story serves as a stark reminder that retirement is not just about financial planning, but also about preparing oneself for a significant lifestyle change. What are these struggles, you ask? Well, they are more common than you might think. First and foremost, there's the loss of work identity. When you've spent decades being known as, say, John the engineer, it can be disconcerting to suddenly just be John. You see, our work often forms a significant part of our identity, and when that's taken away, it can feel like we've lost a piece of ourselves. John, for instance, found himself wondering, who am I now that I'm no longer John the banker? Then, there's the lack of social interaction. The workplace is a hub of social activity. It's where we make friends, share laughs, and even vent about our shared woes. Once retired, these daily interactions suddenly cease, leaving a void that's not always easy to fill. John found himself missing the camaraderie, the water cooler chats, and even the occasional office drama. Next comes the lack of a structured routine. Our work lives provide a certain rhythm to our days. You wake up at a certain time, have lunch at a certain time, and go to bed at a certain time. After retirement, this rhythm goes out of the window. Days can blend into each other, and it can be challenging to find a new routine. John found himself feeling disoriented without his 9-to-5 structure. Lastly, there's the sudden abundance of free time. Now, you might think, well, that sounds like a dream. But surprisingly, it can be a struggle. When you're used to having your days filled with tasks and deadlines, the sudden lack of them can be overwhelming. John found himself feeling aimless and bored, unsure of what to do with all the time he now had on his hands. John, like many others, found himself grappling with these issues. But remember, struggles are a part of life. And retirement is no different. It's about learning to navigate these new waters and finding joy in this new phase. But more on that in the next segment. But it's not all doom and gloom. John found ways to overcome these hurdles. It wasn't an overnight transformation, mind you, but through a series of small, deliberate steps, John managed to turn his retirement experience around. His first step was finding a new hobby. John has always had an interest in gardening, but never had the time to fully explore it. With plenty of hours on his hand, he decided to take the plunge. He started small with a few potted plants, but as his interest grew, so did his garden. He learned about different plant species, how to care for them, and even tried his hand at growing his own vegetables. The once daunting task of filling his free time became an exciting journey of discovery. The second step was joining a community group. John realized that one of the things he missed the most about work was the camaraderie with his colleagues. He needed a sense of belonging, a sense of community, so he joined a local gardening club. He met people who shared his passion, picked up gardening tips, and even participated in local gardening competitions. This not only gave him a sense of purpose, but also helped him form a new social circle, easing his feelings of loneliness. However, hobbies and socializing weren't enough. John still felt a lack of structure in his life, so he decided to set a daily routine for himself. He would wake up early, have a healthy breakfast, spend the morning in his garden, take a nap after lunch, read a book in the evening, and catch up with friends or family over dinner. This routine gave his days a sense of direction and purpose, making him feel more accomplished and satisfied. Lastly, John learned to enjoy his free time. Initially, he felt guilty about not doing anything productive with his time, but then he realized he had earned this time. He had spent decades working, striving, and now it was time for him to relax and enjoy the fruits of his labor. He began to see his free time not as a burden but as a gift. A time to explore his interests, spend time with loved ones, and simply enjoy life at a slower pace. Overcoming the struggles of retirement isn't about making drastic changes. It's about finding what brings you joy and fulfillment, what keeps you active, both physically and mentally. It's about finding a balance between doing things you love and taking time to rest and relax. It's about embracing this new phase of life with open arms and a positive mindset. John's journey wasn't easy. He had his fair share of ups and downs, moments of doubt, and feelings of loneliness. But he didn't give up. He took one step at a time, adapted, and learned from his experiences. Through trial and error, John found his rhythm, a balance that made his retirement life enjoyable and fulfilling. His story is a testament to the fact that while retirement may come with its set of challenges, with the right mindset and approach, it can truly be the golden years of one's life. So, what can we learn from John's experience? Let's revisit the key points we've discussed throughout this video. Firstly, we've seen that retirees often grapple with common struggles during their initial year of retirement. These struggles can range from missing the structure that work provided to dealing with feelings of isolation and loneliness. The transition from a busy work life to a quiet home life can be quite jarring, and it's essential to acknowledge these feelings rather than brushing them aside. Secondly, we've highlighted the significance of staying active and developing new interests. Retirement offers a golden opportunity to explore passions that you might not have had the time for during your working years. This could be anything from gardening to painting, traveling, or volunteering. Delving into new hobbies not only keeps you engaged, but it also opens doors to new social circles, helping to curb feelings of loneliness. Thirdly, we've underscored the necessity of maintaining a structured routine. John's story illustrates how a daily schedule can provide a sense of purpose and direction, which is often missing in the initial phase of retirement. It's not about mimicking your old work schedule, but about creating a new routine that balances relaxation with activities that nourish your body and mind. We've also touched on the importance of financial planning, which is a critical aspect that often causes stress during the first year of retirement. Being aware of your expenses and having a financial plan in place can go a long way in ensuring a smooth transition into this new phase of life. Lastly, remember that it's okay to ask for help. Reach out to professionals, join retirement groups, or lean on your loved ones if you're finding the transition challenging. Remember, retirement is not the end, but the beginning of a new journey. And as John's story tells us, it's a journey that can be just as fulfilling and rewarding as our working years.